Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Getting a good night's sleep is difficult to achieve, and so far we've discussed the psychological and physiological factors that can affect our sleep quality. But we haven't yet discussed our sleep environment and how that can help or hurt our sleep. So today we are going over the top 5 tips for the perfect sleep environment. Hey everyone, my name is Matthew, and welcome to Calm Insomniac, where we're a community of people trying to get a better night's sleep. If you like learning about sleep health, sleep tips, and relaxing classical music, then please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. Our sleep environment is an important factor to our overall sleep health, and this is a really popular topic, so I decided to address this subject in a slightly different way. Instead of right away giving you all of the scientific data and evidence, I've decided to take a long-term approach to this topic. First, I went online to look up all the different articles that talk about how to create the perfect sleep environment with no real concern as to how scientifically accurate or inaccurate they were. I wanted to scope what the general public is saying and start from there. Next, I took a consensus of all the different tips and recommendations that people are recommending. So this list is really a compilation of everyone else's tips and tricks. But I won't stop there because, as you probably know by now, I like giving you concrete scientific evidence. So after this video, I will research each individual tip and recommendation and look for research studies and clinical studies that actually address those individual topics, and we can see if these tips from the general public can either be confirmed or debunked. So think of this video as an introduction where we lay out the foundational groundwork, then we will research each topic further, and then we can end by revisiting this initial topic and seeing how things have changed or if they've stayed the same. And personally, I think it'll be fun to compare what the general population thinks are the good tips and recommendations compared to what the research community has to say. So with all of that in consideration, let's get into the top 5 tips for the perfect sleep environment. These are in no particular order. Let's start with number 1, which is that our bedroom should only be used for sleep. This tip is both mental and habitual because we want to put ourselves in the right mindset through conditioning. And conditioning is the process of associating certain stimuli with certain responses. I'm sure you're all familiar with the classic conditioning example of Pavlov's dog, where a dog was conditioned to salivate, a response, at the sound of a bell, stimuli, because it had previously associated the sound of the bell with food. We can think of our bedroom in the same way. We want to associate our bedroom with sleep and only sleep. We don't want to bring other outside things into our bedroom that can hinder us from sleep. So think of it this way. If you typically at night bring your laptop into bed with you and you start answering work emails, you have begun to associate your bedroom with work. And if you associate that with work, that might increase your stress, and that can prevent you from falling asleep. So in this case, if you can compartmentalize certain aspects of your life, that will hopefully make falling asleep in your bedroom that much easier. The second tip for the perfect sleep environment is we don't want to use any electronics. Specifically, we don't want to use any electronics that have a screen which emits light. That includes your phone, a tablet, your laptop, or even a television. This is a really difficult habit to break and something I'm personally guilty of myself. But it's really common for people to get into bed and immediately start scrolling through their phone, particularly on social media. But this is a bad idea for several reasons. First, when you scroll through social media, you might experience some fear of missing out and wishing that you were out doing something with your friends instead of being at home in bed. If you aren't secure in your life, then this fear of missing out might unnecessarily increase stress and decrease your self-confidence. But just remember that people only post what they want you to see. Second, using an electronic device can keep our mind too engaged to properly initiate sleep. We want to keep our mind as quiet as possible when we're trying to relax and fall asleep. But think if you like to turn on the television when you get into bed, you might discover a show or movie that you really love, and all of a sudden 2 hours have gone by. And you could have been sleeping those 2 hours, but instead you were too engaged, and now you've accumulated just that much more of a sleep debt. Finally, our electronic devices that have a screen emit a blue light, which is harsh on our eyes at night. But additionally, it's been considered that these blue lights can reduce our body's production of melatonin, and as a quick reminder, melatonin is one of our sleep-regulating hormones. The third tip on this list is we want our bedroom to be very dark as possible. And the most important reason for this is to keep our circadian rhythm intact. Circadian rhythm is our body's natural internal process that regulates our sleep cycle. Our body associates light with wakefulness and darkness with sleep. But if we have lights in our room, whether it be from a screen or a lamp or otherwise, we can alter or shift our circadian rhythm, which will prevent us from falling asleep quickly or even falling asleep at all. This is something I've personally experienced when I've used my phone too much in bed. I can tell that my sleep schedule is getting later and later into the night, so this is a really important tip. So in our bedroom, it's recommended that we have no light sources at all. This includes from your phone, a lamp or a nightlight, or even a digital alarm clock. If you keep your phone in your bedroom, it's recommended that you flip it screen side down so that no lights will accidentally come on due to a notification coming in. As far as alarm clocks, you might consider using an old school analog alarm clock, and this is good for two reasons. One, it eliminates a light source, but second, if you can't see the time, then you won't have sleep-related anxiety when it takes you a long time to fall asleep. And finally, your bedroom windows should be equipped with really thick or blackout curtains to prevent as much light as possible until morning. The fourth tip on this list is we want our bedroom to be very quiet, and this is mostly to reduce or eliminate potential distractions. Now on this channel, we like talking about music that we can listen to help us fall asleep and relax, but it's recommended that you listen to music about 45 minutes prior to going to bed. However, if you feel that you absolutely need music to fall asleep once you're in bed, then you should try setting it on a timer. This way it will automatically shut off and won't be a distraction throughout the night while you're actually sleeping. And if you're in an environment where you can't control external sound sources such as traffic or neighbors or anything else like that, you might want to consider getting a background noise machine. These are machines that will play soothing sounds or other white noise that will potentially lower those external sounds and create less of a distraction for you. But with those as well, you should consider setting it on a timer, that way it will automatically shut off. And as a quick little bonus tip, whether you listen to music or background noise, you definitely don't want to use headphones, use an external sound source. And the fifth and final tip on this list is we want our sleep environment to be at a cool temperature. This is something that I personally struggle with because I get cold very easily and I much prefer being in a warm environment. However, when we sleep and when our body is preparing to fall asleep, our body reduces its internal temperature, and we generally sleep better when we are in a cooler environment. So we typically want our bedroom to be somewhere between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Now to me, that personally seems freezing, but I guess that's why we have a blanket. And on top of that, we want to wear lightweight pajamas or even nothing at all. That way we don't have extra layers that are increasing our body temperature. It's important to keep ourselves as cool as possible to get the best sleep possible. There we go. Those are the top 5 tips for the perfect sleep environment based on the general population's consensus. Remember that each of these tips and recommendations will be further researched for upcoming videos, and we can use scientific data and clinical trials that will further explain why these tips are good or if any of these tips should be debunked. Let me know in the comments below, what is your sleep environment like, and are there things about your bedroom that you would change based on this list? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Pinterest, check out my website, and join my email list. All of those links are down below. If you want to learn more about relaxing classical music, then I suggest you check out this playlist over here. And if you want to see one of my recent videos talking about the best sleep positions and how they relate to back pain, then check out this video down over here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.